Hey guys, Tina here and welcome to another weekly reads video. Now, in this video I will let you know what I managed to read in the last couple of weeks. I think I have not been posting regularly, as you might have noticed. I'm just not in the mood to film lately and I just do not want to force myself. But I think it was, about 2 weeks ago that I posted the last of these videos. So in that time, since then, I managed to read 3 books and they were all great and I really enjoyed them. And the first of those was Waistcoats and Weaponry by Gail Carriger. This is book 3 in her Finishing School series. It tells the story of Sophronia. Now Sophronia, she's this tomboyish girl and her mother is desperate to make a lady out of her. So she enrolls her in this finishing school. But she does not check exactly what kind of school it is, because this school also teaches girls to be spies and assassins and things like that. And Sophronia is really good at that stuff. And she, stumbles on a few adventures here and there. And the books sort of follow this theme, this storyline for all the books. And so I think you actually have to read them, in order. But they're all very quick reads and all very enjoyable, adventurous, fast-paced, and they're just a lot of fun. Sophronia is a great character, as I have said many times before. She's spunky, adventurous. She comes up with crazy ideas, and they usually work. And she has great friends as well, and there are a few boys in there that she is not exactly sure what to do with. So it's pretty confusing for her, and it's a lot of fun for us because, I don't know, this is the 1800s, it's a steampunk world, it's sort of similar to ours but not. There are vampires and werewolves and there's ether in the atmosphere and, flying dirigibles and just crazy stuff, and it's a really interesting world and a lot of fun, and these books are pretty humorous, and I just cannot wait to pick up the last book in the series because I just cannot wait to see how her story ends. And then Tome Topple started, and I actually made a video with my TBR and I'll link it up here so you can go check it out. And I had, not too ambitious plans because there was a time when my TBR was completely doable, but yeah, it's not like that lately. But anyways, I did read one book, and I finished one book, and if nothing else happens, if I don't read a page after that, I have done really well, because I have been reading that book for over a month, and I'm really happy that it's finally done. And I'm talking about The Soul of the World by David Mealing, which is a debut novel, and it's book 1 in the Ascension cycle. So I do not know how many books are going to be in this series, and it's quite a chunker. And I have been reading it with Michael and Lourdes, and I think we all struggled with it for reasons which I will go into right now. Anyways, this is a type of fantasy that takes place in what feels like colonial America. So, there's this new continent and these two great nations have colonies there that are currently at war with each other because they want to gain new land for reasons that I will again go into. And there's part of this continent where the tribes live that are very reminiscent of Native Americans. So in this world we have 3 characters that we follow. The first one is Ares, and she is an officer in the Saracen army. Saracen is one of these two great nations. The other one is Gant, and they're fighting each other for land. Because there is this type of ley line magic that is very prominent in this world, and if you gain more land you gain more ley lines, and each ley line is a potential new type of magic, and that's what they fight over basically. And Ares is an officer in the Saracen army, and she is really great. She's a great strategist, she's a great soldier, and she uses ley line magic and I do not want to mess this up, and she actually is capable of using different types of ley line magic, and that's why she's called a full binder, because usually people can use only one, and if you can use 3 or more then you're a full binder, and it's actually very rare that people can do that. And each type of ley line can, I don't know, body gives you more power, I think, faith makes you invisible and things like that. So it's complicated, and I'm still not sure I understand it completely. Anyways, then we have Serene. She lives in New Saracen, which is the main city in the Saracen colonies, and she's a street artist. And so she sketches events and then sells her sketches and makes a living that way. And she actually uses ley line magic, but she also has this different type of magic It's called Calm Magic, and that means that she has this companion that is sort of a reptilian type of thing. And it's usually invisible. It can make itself visible to others if it wants, and sort of, you know, enhances her powers, her abilities, and it advises her and things like that. It's all very interesting again, but also pretty confusing. And then we have Arakjur. He's a guardian in one of the tribes that we get to meet, and he is one of the elders in that tribe, and he uses spirit magic. So he is protecting the tribe, and every time he kills one of the great beasts that threaten the safety of his tribe, he sort of is asked whether or not he wants to gain the beast's power, and the more, you know, beasts you kill, the more of these powers you have. And things are not exactly going okay with the spirits. They are making mistakes. The spirits, they're giving them wrong advice lately, and it has been causing a lot of problems for the tribes, especially among each other. So in all of their worlds, things are changing, and yeah, that's the story basically. So actually I ended up enjoying this book a lot more than I expected, you know, from when I started. It's a really hard book to read, at least I found it that way. The writing is really dense and slightly complicated, so a lot of the time I was not even sure what was going on, which was confusing. You have basically you're thrust into this world that, yes, it's sort of similar to ours, but there are these different types of magic systems that you do not understand, right? And things are happening, and I was so confused a lot of the time. But I did start, you know, towards the middle and the end, I did start to get a grasp of things, and that helped a lot. But still, you know, it was a slow read. Usually I could read only about 50 pages a day of this book, and sometimes not even that, because I don't know, I just couldn't. It took a lot of my concentration, and if I was tired, it would just put me to sleep basically. Despite that, I did find myself enjoying it towards the end, as I said, and I probably will pick up the sequels because it did end up on really interesting notes, and yeah. But yes, you know, it was a hard read. I'm not gonna tell you that it was not. So if you really like fantasy, definitely give it a try. If you're new to fantasy, maybe do not start with this book. So yeah, but all in all, I did find out, you know, myself enjoying it, and I'm happy that I finished it. That was quite an achievement. And the last book that I managed to read is Invictus by Ryan Graudin. I got an ARC off of NetGalley, so thank you for that, guys. This is a book that will be released on the 22nd of September. And I have to say that I really loved it. This was my first Ryan Graudin book, and I am so happy that I read it. It was so fantastic, so great. And really, I could sing it praise all day long. But actually I will have a full review of it before the book comes out, so you guys will be able to see that and decide whether or not you want to get it. But just, you know, for now, I will briefly tell you what it's about. So this is a time traveling book, and it's about a boy called Far who was born out of time. So he has no official birthday because he was born on a time machine basically. And, you know, his mother is a time traveler. She goes back into the past and studies the history as it is happening. And he wants to do that as well, so he is at this time travel academy, and he is really good. But then on his final exam, things go wrong, and he is basically expelled. And he is devastated. So he is looking for a way to actually manage to do what he likes still, despite the fact that, you know, he cannot do it officially. And he basically becomes a smuggler, and he and his crew go back in time and steal things and things like that. And on one of his missions, things don't exactly go according to plans, and things get a lot more complicated. And you know, that's basically what it will tell you. It was a fantastic read. Really, it's fast-paced, the running is really enjoyable, the characters are great, you know, the historical details are very interesting, the scientific part of it, I'm not sure how correct it is, but it sounded really good, and the twists and turns just kept really happening, and I could not guess any of them, and it was a great read, and I'm really looking forward to reading more of Ryan Graudin's books. So that's what I managed to read last week, or in the last 2 weeks, but now I want to continue with my Tome Topple, and I want to read at least one of Brandon Sanderson book that I mentioned in my Tome Topple TBR, and I think I will focus on Ether of Night, which I still don't know what it's about. But yeah, I will probably learn by the end of this week. And I would also like to read The Last Magician by Lisa Maxwell, which is this story about magicians in New York, or you know, the fact that there are very few left. There's this brink around Manhattan, and if magicians cross over it, they lose their powers. And it's actually this order that established this brink. And there's this girl, Esta, who goes back into the past and steals objects. And she's after one of these books that I think has something to do with the order and how the brink was built, constructed, or you know, whatever. I don't know, I just feel like I need to read something like that again. And it's time travel again, so yay for me! Anyways, I hope I will finish this book and that one. But anyways, you will find out next week, or potentially whenever I decide to film again. I am sorry for these infrequent videos, but I'm just so, I don't know, without energy to film. So, you know, I do not want to force myself, because it would show in the video if I'm, you know, just like, dead, and it's not an enjoyable video to watch then, is it? Anyways, let me know down in the comments if I made you excited for any of these books. I hopefully did. And see you in my next video. Bye, guys.